We used to call it learning lessons, and now everybody calls it trauma.
Yeah, but nothing good in life has ever come easy. And I mean, if you fall down, get back up, keep trying.
If you really wanted to test manifestation, manifest becoming a cat. And then we'll see if it actually works or not. But the
People
reality
wear
is,
tails
but see, it won't. You won't become a fucking cat because it's not possible. See, this is what women do. They create this fucking fairy tale story out of a normal situation that could happen to, not could happen, it literally happens to everyone.
With every decision we make, every choice, every second creates a new kind of reality where you can go, and that's how it works.
I got cheated on TV, so that's what I'm going to say. It's a show that's about to come out, and by the time the podcast comes out, I'm sure social media will already dig.
I believe in, you need to love yourself wholeheartedly and know where you are, where you want to go in life, and who you want to be before you love someone.
The only reason why I can't say this is because it's about to be made public. That was screaming every day. That was banging his head on my dash, breaking my vents. I mean, it was insanity. It's just
But yeah,
sad.
two wrongs don't make it right, so why stoop down to...
Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us. I'm Zach Evans, along here with my co-host Mohammad. We got a couple special guests on the show today. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourself, name, what you do, and zodiac sign. And we'll start with you.
Oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble for my zodiac sign. I'm a Gemini. My name's Liza, and I am a financial advisor, and I'm a singer-songwriter.
Awesome. Valeria?
My name is Valeria. I am Taurus, and I do marketing, and I help people to live a better life.
Awesome.
My name is Michelle, and I am a Virgo. I'm also a financial advisor, consultant, but I don't really know what I'm doing, so I'm doing everything that I can at this point.
So Gemini, Taurus, Virgo. So toxic, stable, kind of toxic. Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
How has your experience with toxic relationships been in Los Angeles?
Oh, so much fun. It gives me a lot of content for songwriting, so I'm grateful for men.
And their fuck-ups.
Yeah, so awful, actually. I mean, I think I was just thinking today, every person that I've been with, that I've had strong feelings for or been in a relationship with, have ended up being unloyal to me. I'm like, why?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and they all come running back. I mean, it's one of those things where they realize what they lost immediately, you know? And it's like, I can't do anything about this now.
So when you start dating a fuckboy, for example, and I'm curious what your guys' opinion on this too, in the back of your mind, do you know that he's a fuckboy, but he's just attractive and there's something about him that's just edgy and interesting? Or are you no, I thought he was a nice, sweet guy, and then I got blindsided by the fact that he was a fuckboy?
I think it's all of the above. Geminis get obsessed very fast with one person and one person only. And so I'm really good at making the red flags turn green. Well, it was just a mistake. Or, he didn't mean that. So that's kind of my issue. Yeah, it's kind of both, for sure. It doesn't usually start that way, though. And speaking about narcissists, because I know that was on the topic, they're very good at playing that part to where they're great at everything. They're charming, whatever it is, but there's ulterior motives. So you find out later.
Interesting. What's your experience been with narcissists?
I've had so much experience until I healed my trauma finally. And I'm actually also so grateful for those men, because it definitely helped me to understand some traumas, to heal from it and move forward, become a better version of myself and become stronger, to understand myself more, to love myself more. I think it's a part of healing, and you're going to meet those people unless you're going to understand, okay, that's enough. I'm going to change something about it. Because we create our own reality. And if I attract these kind of people, then there's something in me attracting or creating this situation. But had really strong experience.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like Gen Z culture has taken normal words and then you guys put big words that sound like science to describe things that have been happening for hundreds of years. Like it's like narcissist, right? Like we just called those assholes, but now they're narcissist, sociopath, blah, blah, blah. Or like we used to call it learning lessons and now everybody calls it trauma. And it's very confusing to me because I'm like, what's the difference between trauma and just like something bad happened, you learn from it, and then you like make sure it doesn't happen the next time.
So how it actually works, we get some kind of experience in our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, my personal experience, I went through some kind of abandonment where my parents had to get separated. Then my mom left my hometown to study so she can work in a big corporation. And me as a baby felt abandoned. So then my stepdad was pretty cold to me. And this created this pattern where if men would act badly towards me, I would feel even more attractive because I would be trying my best to deserve that love, to prove that I'm good enough. Please love me. I'm here. No matter what, please love me. I'm going to do everything. Believe every bullshit you say.
I see. But then if a guy would give you that love, then you'd be not attracted to a guy who would just give you that from the get-go.
You wouldn't really attracted to that kind of person because your trauma will be not attracted to it because you're still looking to resolve that issue within yourself. So you're not going to be interested in other people because your inside, your soul wants to heal that lesson, as you said, to go through that lesson. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, when you have this pattern, when you already have this image where you know that when someone do not pay attention to me, that means they love me because probably dad was cold to that girl and she didn't receive enough attention. And she learned that this is a proper way to love. Mm-hmm. That's why it's creating this snowball. It's just never ending story unless you realize, oh, there's something wrong about it.
I see.
You know what's interesting too is that, like for me, for example, with me, I had really great parents growing up, mm-hmm. and I was trying to look back and see like why am I attracted to those types of people, and I realized after listening to a bunch of podcasts actually recently, trying to figure myself out, I had an awful relationship at the age of 17 through 20, and that's what did it for me. So young relationships with people can also kind of give you that trauma to where you're attracted to that type of person as well. And I didn't realize that. So, and as far as like big words go, like I just Googled narcissist like a couple months ago. So I just learned about it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because so I grew up with like very strict Catholic parents, taught me to be very polite and respectful. So I was like a big simp, like growing up, nice guy simp. And I'm telling you guys from experience, I don't know if it's just girls with trauma. Every girl friend zoned me. Like I could not get out of the friend zone to save my life. And then eventually I was like, fuck this shit. And then I became a fuckboy and like did all the gaslighting and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Which back in my day, we would just call that lying to people, but now it's gaslighting. It's like a whole psychological principle. And now I kind of matured out of that. I'm kind of like in this new area, but I can see the whole picture. But like guys don't want to be fuckboys. Like we wish we could just be like a good little simp and, you know, run around with our simp friends and ride our bird scooters. But we have to, otherwise like girls won't like us. Like it is what it is, you know?
I feel like I disagree with that. Like girls won't like us because nobody likes an asshole. So I also grew up Catholic, very strict parents, mm-hmm. well-mannered, like fork and knife was beaten into my head, like ingrained in memory. But then I also relate with you. I grew up with very like a loving household and whatever. I'm sorry you had to endure that, but then you're stronger now. Like you learned from that. So you're just a stronger and more mature woman. But then I guess like I'm a little of an outlier in this topic because I haven't really dated in LA much. I was in a really long, like 4-year relationship. And if I've gone on like dates, I guess you could say, then they've just been like with like groups of people, or it's been like a dinner and then nothing ever happened from it. Cause I feel like I was healing and finding myself and who I am and what I like. And like a very clear vision of who I want in my life and who I don't want in my life. So I haven't really experienced any fuckboys necessarily in my dating experience, but I've definitely met like very shitty people and like very shitty guys and liars, frauds, like.
So what happens like for the guy, for example, the guy that last guy you went to a dinner date with? You go to dinner, obviously you're not having a second date. Like, what is it about him that you're like, nah, don't really want to hang out again?
I think it's just my intention of, because then like whenever you're going on a date, like what's the intention? And for me, I always like to meet people. I like to learn more about people. What are your goals, your visions, and etc. And so I think like going on a date, not necessarily that there's not like a second date, but I think I'm the one that kind of like friend zones in a way because I don't see it going anywhere, or like I don't want it to go anywhere in a sense. And yeah.
But that's what I'm saying.
Does
Like,
that make sense?
what are the
what
guys
is-
missing that you're like, oh, if a guy had this, then I would be like interested. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Great question. I think if a guy had, I think I'm a very adventurous person and very like go-getter, which not saying people aren't. But I think a lot of people are just caught up in the scene and like imagery and trying to please other people. And I just haven't, I've met amazing people. I guess I just haven't met anyone that I'm like, wow, I see a future with you. And so that goes with like values or like, not saying like people's past or whatever, because my past isn't the prettiest. But I guess you could say, I don't know, I guess it's just like maybe I wasn't allowing myself to, like I fully have known people, met people, and explored or like thought about it. Because I love hard. I like will meet someone and I'm like, wow, like am I in love with this person? But I'm not. Maybe you're just like in love with the reality of what they could be or.
Infatuated.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, but I guess it's just like a me thing. Like I haven't allowed myself to go there because I have like I believe in like you need to love yourself wholeheartedly and know where you are, where you want to go in life and who you want to be before you love someone else. Because I see all these other women I look up to, they have their own shit going on. They've got businesses, they've got a brand, they've got online presence or just like a presence in the world. And so I think once I finally, and it's not like a timeline of like, oh, once I'm successful, then I will love again or something like that. I think it's just I want to know who I am, where I'm going in life, and explore fucking up on my own, like doing X, Y, and Z all by myself before really like allowing that part of myself to love and then to actually be able to like create with someone. And yeah, so I think it's solely me.
How old are you again?
I'm 22.
Presumably you haven't been in a relationship ever.
I have. I'm the type of girl that's like always been in a relationship. Like in high school, I had a 4-year relationship, 3-year, whatever you want to call it. In middle school, I always like kind of had a boyfriend. And they were like long term. They weren't just like I don't want to sound like a lot of boyfriends. And I was just like dating around. But it was like truly like people I gave my heart to. I connected with their families, their friends, and like all of that aspect. So I feel like I love to be in a relationship. I love, and yeah.
So those relationships ended because you weren't ready.
You could say. I think my last relationship ended. It's still not like a closed chapter though, because I think I'm like truly in love with that person. Because he has like the adventure side, the drive to be better, and just to be an all around like top 1%er in the world, I would say, or like even if you want to go farther, like the 0.5 in the world. And I think I was so in love and I was just like doing everything that was kind of like not like he wanted me to do, but I like allowed it to. So I kind of like lost myself in like loving one person and like got so fully infatuated and like so deep that now I'm not like boyfriend or girlfriend with him, but I definitely see a future, but I think right now I'm growing. I'm figuring things out. I'm making mistakes. I'm figuring life out and trying to build myself up and fully love myself before I then love that hard again, if that makes sense.
So it sounds like the reason why you are not having feelings for anybody else is because you have feelings for somebody that you dated before.
Yeah. I see that in I look at the end goal because I love to journal. I love to make goals and stuff like that. But you're not going to write in your journal, I want to be a millionaire. When? Like by 25, or I want to pay all off my debt by September. If you don't have an end goal, then...
But the secret of manifestation that you do not set limitations. You do not say, oh, I'm going to be by 25 or 30. You just set it out there and you just move on.
Totally.
Doing focusing on now, because you cannot control the outcome, right?
Of course, but if I totally agree with you, but without a deadline, it's a dream, because it's like I dream this, or like I dream this, but it's like you kind of have to set a deadline, or at least a timeline, to be able to manifest. I'm a big believer in manifest. I would not be where I am in my life today without manifesting. But I think if you don't set a time frame, then it will always just be a dream, and then it'll just keep falling back.
What if you're not going to be a billionaire by the age of 25?
Well, then at least you wrote it down, and at least you're still moving toward that goal, and you were doing everything that you could to be as great as possible, or to get into that billionaire status. So at least if you're not a billionaire by 28 or 25, like you said, then at least you were doing everything that you could and worked your ass off, and then you just flip over a page and edit the goal.
Isn't it going to be distracting for people if they set a bar for 25 and then this not happening, and you might get upset? You'll be like, okay, this didn't happen. I don't believe in it anymore.
Yeah, but nothing good in life has ever come easy. And I mean, if you fall down, get back up, keep trying. So I see where you're coming from and what you're saying and how you can be discouraged. But I think keep the goals clear, keep your life and passion and everything as clear as possible, and do everything that you can. Because then if you're not a billionaire by 28, then like you're not a failure. You were still doing everything you possibly could. But if you had like an empty goal or reality, I want to be a billionaire by 28, and it's just like a dream, and you're just like, bless you, and you're just like, oh, I want to do this, then it's like, yeah, but like, when are you going to do it? And how is it going to happen? So at least you're always working towards something. Or like, you know how people work out for the summer? They're like, summer bodies are made in the winter, whatever. No one's going to start like a week before spring break or whatever and start working out and like actually kicking ass in the gym. At least you're working toward it, and you're like, by spring break, you're like, okay, maybe I'm not where I want to be, but I am a hell of a lot closer than I was a few months ago.
Yeah, I think you need a deadline, because, okay, let's say you're like building a restaurant, right? And that's your goal. I want to start a restaurant. You're like, okay, well, if I have a deadline, I want to do it by like in the next like 2 years. It's like, okay, what do I need to do? I need to like raise some money. I need to sign the lease. I need to hire employees. I need to like renovate the interior. I need to figure out the food, right? You have like all the steps, and then you can say, okay, this steps will take a week. This step will take a month. This step will take blah, blah, blah. And you can line it up. But if you just say like, universe, give me a restaurant, then like.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, you have to do some actions to get closer to your goal. But what I'm saying is the universe is limitless. And when you really trying to manifest something, I mean, I'm not saying that, oh, you're trying to manifest a delivery by Uber that you ordered 10 minutes ago. And you're like, when this going to become...
I've manifested a lot of Uber Eats in my life, I'll say that.
This is actually a good practice. Like if you wanted to improve your manifestations, your manifesting skills, you can practice it by doing so. Just train your brain. For example, you want a coffee, and before you go actually make yourself a coffee, you'd be like, you think about it as you would be manifesting. And then when you get your coffee, you talking to yourself, right? That my dream came true so fast. My wishes are coming true. So this way, you train your brain that your dreams and wishes come true so easy, so quick, so fast.
Well, the problem is, so manifestation only works for hot girls. It doesn't work for...
Works for everybody, okay?
No,
Yeah.
trust me.
No.
I've seen hot girls manifest the craziest shit. They'd be like, Tulum, Tulum. And then next day,
Witchcraft.
private. Yeah, literally. Yeah. Whereas, like, if you're ugly and you're like, $1 million, like, the universe is go get a job. You better work for like 50 years, working doubles at the dirt factory just to make ends meet. Because the universe, like, I used to do reverse manifestation, anti-manifestation. I would visualize myself super poor and broke the rest of my life. Like, you know, pulling up to my like girl's house in a Honda Corolla, like beep, beep, get in, babe. Like, we're going to Applebee's. I got the coupon book.
I love Applebee's.
And the universe was like, okay, I'm going to make you poor. I was like, fuck you, universe. And I took the universe on and I beat the universe. And now the universe doesn't fuck with me anymore.
That's such a guy's mentality. I hear that all the time.
Guys,
Yeah.
Guys love to gender role things and girls this, but guys, I'm like...
But no, because if I was a hot girl, I would use the universe kind of manifestation. And I would be like, universe, because like it works so well. But like, I could never get on a private jet from manifesting it. I would have to just do all the work to get the private jet.
To interrupt you, why do you think that though? Like, why do you think us hot girls can manifest that stuff? So that's like, you're already putting yourself in a limiting belief.
Because, okay.
Because take away your privilege and you won't be able to do the same things that you're doing.
What's the privilege though?
If
Of being hot and having
obviously.
a vagina?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, being a woman and being a hot woman.
Okay.
Or what do you say? That your privilege, you already as a white male, your privilege.
Well, I'm white
here,
straight male, so I'm like up here. And I'm a Pisces, so I'm like up here. And year of the goat, 1991, so I'm like up here. The only thing that can beat me is pretty privilege, which is like, I'm still mad about it because like I would be number one privilege, but pretty privilege, like I can't beat it. Doesn't matter your race, doesn't matter anything else. If you're hot, like I can't get that same level.
You do have blue eyes though. You have pretty privilege.
And I have blue eyes. Like I have like everything except like being a girl privilege. But pretty privilege, the downside is it's like a sprint. It's like you guys waste all your energy when you're young. And then my privilege keeps lasting. So I lucked out. Even when I'm old, my privilege is still good. Whereas like girls' privilege runs out, I don't know, 30, 35, depending how you take care of yourself.
Can you elaborate more on what you said, like when we're younger, which their time is running out?
Oh, yeah. Like, so pretty privilege lasts between probably 18 and like 29. If you're Latina, maybe 35. If you take care of yourself, Botox and everything, okay, you can stretch it farther.
Okay.
But for like white straight male privilege, it's not as powerful, but it lasts longer. Because even when I'm like 40, my white straight male privilege is still like
True, or like
along.
older men like do peak and like
because if you're an old white dude, if you're just rich and funny, like it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's just the way the world works, you know?
I feel like there's so many different types of privilege too. Like for example, Michelle and I could get on a private jet tomorrow. Like we know that. But that's not our private jet. You guys could go be taken seriously in the business world. We probably can't to a certain extent.
Could fall in love with you
but like your
maybe.
yeah, that's true. That's true. But like for example, manifesting like a private jet.
Yeah.
If you're constantly manifesting that, you're going to be so aware of people that do have private jets, that are working really hard, that are, you know, that do have a lot of money. Like you're going to be so aware of those types of people because you're thinking about it all the time. You're manifesting it. And so now, you know, okay, like let me reach out to this person. Let me have a connection with this person. And that's also like the benefit of always having that in the back of your head, because you can definitely manifest it, you know?
But to piggyback off of that, there's pretty privilege, but I also tell my friends you have to be pretty, but you also have to be smart. Because nobody wants to hang out with like a bozo that they can't talk to, that is just like snapping photos the whole time. Because there's a difference between being pretty and then like being pretty and having substance and like having a good head on your shoulders, being able to communicate efficiently and not being like a lot. Like I've been around some girls that are just like very whiny or like complaining. Like not like, I don't want to say like girls should be easygoing because that can come off in a wrong way. But I think you need to be easygoing to like, oh, the group is doing this. Like in a way, I told one of my girlfriends this because she was kind of like trying to call shots that weren't her shots to call. And I was like, this is not your place. Like, you're not paying for this. You're not planning this or whatever. So it's like it's not your shots to call. But then what I would also add to that is you could manifest a awesome boys group and become friends with great people because you're a high level individual, because you provide value. Like everything in life is about value. And it's not about using people, but it's about providing value. Like, why are people inviting me on this yacht for a few weeks? Not because just being a hot girl or whatever, because I think it goes so far beyond that. Because how long can you realistically hang out with a hot, dumb girl until you're like, flying home?
See, I want to agree with you from a moral standpoint.
Yeah.
But trust me, I've seen some hot girls who do not have a lot of intelligence, and they're still on the yacht.
But
They're
that
still-
has
they're
to
still
do with
there.
the-
Like, I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
That
It's
says
just
a
like
lot
they're
about
still
the owner
there.
of the yacht, though. You know,
Probably.
Exactly.
but,
yeah.
but they're
Because
still on the
there are
yacht, you know?
some people that, as you said, I totally agree, and that this is what I wanted to say when you said,
Okay.
oh, the girls' prettiness can last till 30, 35. But
Yeah.
then when you bring a lot to the table, it's not only about being pretty. As for me, for a very long time, I was ashamed about my sexuality, about me being pretty, because I wanted people to value me for who I am inside as a person so much that I was denying my sexuality, my beauty, and just my appearance. I was not paying attention pretty much what I was wearing, because for me, all this clothes brand never was a thing. I think this is just a whole marketing, a whole system created for people where people manipulated about all of this. So for me, I always valued what's inside, because I also seen a lot of people. I started to work pretty young, and then I used to work in the restaurants and the clubs, and then my whole moving situation. Then I moved to America when I was 22, and then I lived in different states, and I've seen so many people. But it's not about the look, because we all get older. You get older, I get older, we're not going to be the same. But then what's inside, that stays. And also with nowadays possibilities, if you're rich enough and you love your girl, but you would like her to look a little prettier, you just send her to a hair salon, she gets her hair done, she gets cosmetologist, she goes to spa feeling relaxed, shining, and that's the beauty. Beauty is more about coming the light from inside, the shine. When you're so in love with your love and you're shining, you bring this light with you. And every other prettiness, it's pretty much doesn't cost anything.
I totally agree. Like, prettiness comes with who you are, your heart, and within. Because or like the labels. Like, for me, I like to wear nice clothes, but it's not about being a monogram or like a walking advertisement. Because I think, forgive this next statement, but I think that's just like so new money, and it's like trying to be something you're not. I care about like quality of clothes. I care about them being tailored and fitting to me, not about like, oh, can everyone see I'm wearing a Chanel jacket or something like that. And I even had this guy like shit on me, and I was looking at his Instagram, and everything is just like all for show, even down to like the fabricated comments and like followers and things like that. So I think people try so hard to withhold an image and think like, oh, if I look like, I don't want to like say anyone in specific, but like the Miami guys, I guess the Miami style, they're all like Christian Dior, monogram, like, are they paying you or like you're paying them to whatever? So I think we live in a world where so many people are trying to
Pretend and not to be.
Yeah, and I think I've gotten the most respect by being humilitable and being so authentic, and like if you don't like me without hair and makeup or whatever, like you're never gonna love me like at my best. So I think it really does come from within, and like who you are, how you carry yourself, because how you carry yourself perceives on into the world, and how you speak to other people, how you speak about yourself perceives into the world. Because then even you're saying you're a guy, you don't have the privilege. I have a billionaire friend, has a yacht, has a jet, everything, hangs out with girls. Like, the dude's up there, but he looks great, and a lot of people are attracted to him. But then there's also like a few guys that hang around, or like specifically I'm thinking like a younger guy, and it's like, okay, well, that dude's not banging that younger dude, and that younger dude is not like pretty privileged or like a woman, but he's getting invited on the jet.
But my point is, he didn't manifest the jet.
Well, how do you know? Do you like?
I guess
wake
I
up
don't know
every
this
day?
specific guy.
But he might.
But typically
He
it's
might
like,
manifested it.
oh, we're like gonna do business together, or like we're friends because like we built this friendship for years or something like that. It's typically not just like, hey, can I come on your jet? Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Like, it's like not manifesting. It's just like, oh, he like did something to like come on the jet.
To rebuttal though, to rebuttal on that is, shit, I lost it. What did you just say?
It's also about manifesting, because what do you call manifestation? Manifestation when is your dream or wish turned into reality. So you have a really strict, I don't know how I would say that, but like you're really strict towards manifestation.
What's ironic is that none of you guys even agree on the same definition of manifestation to begin with. So how do you expect men to agree with your definition when not even women agree?
I think I got it back. What I was going to say is, it's not even just manifesting like nice cars, nice jewelry, jets, like luxury vacations. I think for me, I manifest like the best in life, and the best in life could mean to some people like caviar and jets and whatever. I think with being your best self and with being a high level, successful, good person. At the end of the day, it's a good person, because I've met some people very successful in business, total assholes, total dicks. And so I think it comes from within. Like, you have to want the best for yourself, and not like we are entitled, but I think every single one of us is entitled to a good life. And in everything, like, the world is our oyster. So anything in this life that is great and amazing, I think all of us are entitled to chase happiness and chase success. And if that means jets to some people, or if that means a family and a house to some people, then I think it's not as materialistic, because at the end of the day, it's being the best you can be, helping people.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all that. Just to me, if you're just a dude or like an ugly person or something, it's just like, to get there, you just have to do all the things to get there.
But
And
we all
if you
have
guys
to do everything to get there.
you have to like do all the steps.
Then what's what's the difference between desire and manifestation at that point?
I think manifestation is having a vision of, I guess it could be materialistic, but not materialistic. Because like the desire to have a coffee, it's like a want, not a need. But I guess a manifestation is not a need, but it could be like, I'm manifesting a family and kids and everything. And so for me, that could be, it kind of goes into like a goal. And a desire is like, ooh, I really want McDonald's, but like, I'm not going to stop at the drive-thru. Kind of. Like, you're not
but like,
manifesting
if you want a kid,
a burger to jump.
Yeah, but
drop in
you
your
limited
sky.
that to food, where in reality, desire could be, maybe I want a car. That's a desire.
Yeah.
I manifested
totally.
all my cars.
I did too, actually.
Okay, wait,
I
explain
didn't-
this.
And I didn't even know about it. It was just such a strong impulse that I only realized that I manifested my cars when I already got those.
How did you get the cars?
Honestly, there were different multiple reasons. So my first car, it was Volkswagen Polo. I bought it back in Russia, and it was so unexpected because I was going through depression, and that was the moment when I made it to psychiatrist, because I was just simply referred after a long time of struggle. And then I realized, okay, I need something to have this light in the end of the in the end of the tunnel. And then I figured I need some kind of dream to come true. So at that point, I was dreaming about the car. I wanted to get my first baby car by the age of 21. And then also that was the first time I heard that there was a program to go to America. And after a short time of thinking, I realized I should go to America better than buy a car. I can always buy a car. And then when I came back, I didn't have much money because I spent everything here. And then by some coincidence, it was a break between my sessions at the university. I went to see my mom. We went just to walk through some car dealerships, and I saw that car. It was a great deal. And then somehow I supposed to give the money back to my dad, the money he gave to me before I went to America. And he was like, oh, I don't need those. And then there was a bonus from my work, and I got the money to pay for the car. And then, for example, and then also what's interesting, I got Volkswagen Polo, but I never was thinking about this car. I was looking at some other cars, but then when I got this car, I asked myself, why Volkswagen Polo? And then, you would be laughing at it, but I found my mom back in 2008, when it wasn't the mainstream yet. My mom did the vision board for manifesting, and she put my picture on a Volkswagen car and kept it since 2008. And I got my car in 2018. And then, for example, when I lived in Boston, one day my friend was driving me, and she was driving beautiful BMW in a beautiful blue color. And I just had this thought, such a beautiful color. I would love to have a car. And then when I moved to LA, I only had $700 back in August 2021 and 3 luggages. I had nothing else. But I figured if I'm going to use public transportation, I'm just going to end LA forever, because it takes 2 hours to get 15-minute trip. And then if I'm going to use Uber, my money going to be gone in a week. So I've decided to ask my friend for help. They lended me $2,000, and I just went to someone I got referred to and asked them to help me to get a car. And that person was a car broker. And guess what? He gave me a blue car. And I was like, how does it work? And there was zero possibility.
Like no blue cars were ever manufactured. Like this just like showed up. See, this is what women do. They create this fucking fairy tale story out of a normal situation that could happen to, not could happen. It literally happens to everyone.
We do that in relationships too.
And it's insane to me that you guys will call this manifestation when in reality you needed a fucking car. You went to a dealership. There was a car that was manufactured by the company, and you bought it.
I didn't give it. I wasn't given a choice. I just.
What do you mean?
Yeah, but she was thinking about it, and then it just so happened that the car that was available was the blue car.
Yeah, and I just received it. I didn't know. It was kind of a surprise. Yeah, I didn't know what color is gonna be the car. I just received it, and also there were kind of zero possibility that I would buy a car because I only had $700. And it was all my money.
Well, of course, if you didn't borrow anything from anyone, if your dad and the bonus didn't come in, of course you wouldn't be able to buy the car.
But then if I wouldn't manifest in this, there would be even zero possibility that someone would lend me money. It's all comes to a bigger picture with all those puzzles, because every decision we make, every choice, every second creates a new kind of reality where you can go, and that's how it works.
And whatever you put out in the world, I feel like God and the universe is like listening, and you are working toward that subconsciously, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like I manifested like my whole life and like where I am, but I guess without being like blue car, Los Angeles and things like that. Like for me, I manifested a good life, financial freedom, helping people, trying to change the world like any day that I can. And so it just so happens that the world works in mysterious ways, and you putting more thought into blue car or private jet or whatever, then it becomes more aware and more clear in day-to-day life, because that's what you are believing in, and it will just come.
You see,
I think
the problem is that everybody that talks about manifestation also manifests things that are possible. If you really wanted to test manifestation, manifest becoming a cat. and then we'll see if it actually works or not. But the
People
reality
wear tails
is,
all the time.
but see, it won't. You won't become a fucking cat because it's not possible. And
Well,
so,
okay, wait. You and I both skydived.
Possible
we
in
got our
California.
skydiving license.
the what?
Possible in California.
Anything's possible in California.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
like, I would have never imagined that I was gonna turn into this sick fuck that has a Mirage and Saber 2 over her head and jumping out of an airplane. I just knew I was gonna be great, and I knew I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get to where I want to go, to be the badass person, to be an inspiration to people. I didn't think I was gonna be jumping out of a fucking airplane with fucking $7,000 worth of gear in my closet. So it's like I never thought that of myself, but it's crazy how, oh, this is cool. This is actually sick as fuck. I'm going to do this. And like, what is your definition of manifestation? Or like, what did you grow up and think, I'm going to be a skydiver? Like, how did that happen for you? What got you into
saw
it?
somebody skydiving, and then I was like, I want to skydive.
So
and
you're
then
just a
I
follower
broke up.
of other people? Or like, you're like, this would be cool.
No, it's
I'm going to do
it's
this.
what you see the world that's possible in
So
the
she
world.
saw a
And,
blue car and that was possible. He sees private jets.
yeah, but that's got
possible.
nothing to do with the fairy tale story of manifestation.
Okay, so
Okay.
let me do another example. So when I was a teenager, I was dreaming to get to America, but there were kind of zero possibilities for me to get here because especially I'm Russian and it's crazy hard to get a visa to America. And I've got the visa twice. I will tell you more. When I was a teenager, I was dreaming, oh, it would be so nice to come to America and just travel and live in different states to see how it is. I was manifesting it, but the way it turned out, I did travel to other states. I lived in 6 different states in 4 years and moved 17 times. But did it happen the way I was imagining it? No, because I wasn't clear enough about my manifestation. But my manifestation was strong enough.
No, she actually has a good point. Because actually, so I wanted to live in LA, right? I was like, one of my dreams, like live in California. And I literally went on Google and I typed in apartments in LA. And there were like all these results of apartments in LA. And I clicked one of them. And I called the place. And I was like, yeah, can I like see the apartment? And they just let me into the apartment.
No.
And then I signed the lease.
Mean.
And I became a resident of LA.
What about being a
through
pianist?
manifestation.
What about being a pianist? Did you were you on YouTube growing up? Like Jared Radnich?
You're going to wish you didn't
amazing pianists.
Liz, you're
You
going to wish
see?
you didn't ask that question.
Oh, great. Let's take this back.
I quit piano in 5th grade because all my friends called me gay at school.
Me too. I thought it was way too hard.
Yeah.
But then it's also like what you just said about what was that last comment that you just said about
like YouTube videos, like I don't know, just having a dream at a
Oh,
young
okay.
age.
It came back. Sorry. I'm like losing my train of thought. My dream wasn't to live in LA. I knew I wanted to live somewhere and I wanted to move out of my hometown in Atlanta, Georgia. I didn't know where that was going to be though. And I always was like, I'm not going to be the girl that moves to LA unless I became like a movie star or like a celebrity. But then I came and visited one of my girlfriends and I was like, holy shit, people live like this? Like walking their dogs, like walking everywhere. And I asked her to take me to the airport and I was like, I'm going to move here. And then I think she thought I was full of shit. And I had an early Thanksgiving with my mom and dad, drove my car to San Diego, got the license at San Diego Skydive, and then moved to Beverly Hills. First lived in an Airbnb. I honestly didn't really know what Beverly Hills was, but I was just manifesting a good, safe place to live. Then for the last 3 years, I was living in the 90210, and I didn't think I was, I didn't have a dream to live in LA. I had a dream to be something more than my hometown. And that didn't mean going to LA
but
or
still,
whatever.
that's same as my manifestation story. The end, this all is it very sounds good, but then at the end of the day, you went to Google, you type in apartments in Beverly Hills, and then you went and you signed the lease.
The thing is,
No, it's
My
okay.
former roommate, she actually found it. She was obsessed with the movie Clueless and being a bimbo in Beverly Hills, and only found apartments in the 90210. Because then when people would ask me, and I'm like, I live in Beverly Hills, they'd be like, and I'm like,
I'm saying every action that happened regardless of the universe. The universe didn't do
but
anything.
we
You guys just
manifested
did things,
everything.
you know what I mean?
The thing is, everything you have, you already manifested. Everything you have every single day, you already thought about it before, and then now you have it because every single thing is manifested by you. But
by
you
me,
just
but not by the universe.
By you, yes.
Yeah.
You are the creator. You manifesting. The universe is just the universe, but it's you who manifesting. You are the master manifester. And the thing is, I think the whole topic is a little bit meaningless because you guys so attracted to the point that manifestation only works for hot girls manifesting private jets, but there's actually every single
I think
detail
we're
is
just arguing,
manifested.
like the definition of words. Like you call it manifestation,
Right.
I call it doing things, but it's
Yeah,
the same
like
thing.
I would
It's
say
just
like the
doing things, right?
definition
Sorry to
is
interrupt you, Liz, but I think manifestation is also like believing that I can do this, believing that in the world this can happen for me. So I think those definitions can go like unless we want to get like textbook and like pull out the Webster, but like I think manifesting is believing, and maybe your goal was more specific and you were like, oh, actually LA looks like a good place, and you saw that apartment and you were thinking to yourself, you were believing like, oh, I could sign this lease and I could have a good life here. You weren't just like, oh, LA, let me move here. The deal looks good, sign the lease. You were believing in yourself and the universe or manifestation, whatever we want to call it. You were believing that this is where I want to be. This is where I can grow, connect. So it's not like, because then I guess you could say praying. Like, are we just praying to God for what reason? Like, how do we know God is always working in our favor? Like, so many people pray like, hey, please don't let my grandma die. And grandma dies next week. So it's like, then is God not like true? Does he want the worst for us? So it's like believing, and there, like, I mean, there's proof of everything on God and religion, but it's like, but what do we really know? Like who really knows? So it's like, I think that belief and that opinion and believing in yourself and dreaming and setting deadlines for dreams and really like believing and manifesting better things, better lives, and whatever goes hand in hand with being a better person and like getting all of those things. And I mean, I'm sure Elon Musk or the Amazon guy, like they weren't manifesting. What's his name?
Jeff Bezos. Yeah,
Jeff Bezos. I'm sure he wasn't expecting that he was going to be this like heavy hitter, sharpshooter, or whatever. Like he didn't know where
He
that
actually
was gonna
knew.
go.
He actually knew because when he got this idea to start online bookstore, he told his manager or his executive, whatever he is, that I'm gonna be so successful and so rich by starting doing this. So
yeah, but that's
he actually
also
knew.
a belief. That's also
That-
a belief.
that's
Like
also
that's like
belief.
me saying I'm gonna be a millionaire one day. I'm not a millionaire right now, but I believe that I will be, and it's like I'm not gonna dwell on myself and be like, oh, am I gonna be, or like doubt
Yeah,
myself
but
because
there's
I'll
so
never
many
get
like
anywhere.
I met so many dudes in LA that are telling me I'm going to have the next big crypto app. I'm starting this cannabis company, and they believe, and they're going to be broke the rest of their life.
Okay,
I could just tell.
What about whenever you were doing sports and growing up? Like,
Yeah.
what if your parents were like, damn, he fucking sucks. But what if your parents were like, oh yeah, just go out, little Timmy, don't just stop trying. Obviously, you're going to be like, no, you can do this. You can do this. Like, even if I don't think I can do something, because going back to the skydiving or like just where I've gotten myself in my life, like even now I like look at myself in the mirror, I'm like, holy shit, you did this. Like, with
Yeah,
your
that's what I'm saying.
beliefs
You
and-
did it.
But
Not
why
the
can't
universe.
everyone do it?
No, not the universe.
I
It was
agree,
you.
like,
Don't
putting
give
it
the
out
universe.
I do
there.
agree with what you're saying because I know nothing about the universe. My definition of manifestation is basically I wake up and I tell myself, I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to accomplish this today. That's my version of it. Like I had with my car, like I had a Jaguar F-Type on my wall for years and years and years. And that was what motivated me to make more money and to not stay at Starbucks, but instead after the next year, get a better job. And that was always in the back of my head because I was always seeing it on the wall. So that was my version of manifestation and it worked for me. Like I got my dream car.
Yeah.
But
it worked because you did all the steps.
because I did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was in the back of my
course.
head and I was very conscious of what I needed to. It's like songwriting. For me, every single day I'm thinking about songwriting and I'm always thinking about different topics. But if I'm not thinking about songwriting and I sit down at the piano 3 weeks later, I'm going to be like, what do I write about? But if it's always in the back of my head, I'm so much more motivated because it's right there, you know? That's how I do.
Dreams don't work unless you do. Dreams don't work unless you do. And you have to do some actions. Like, for example, if you want to manifest the love of your life and you're going to stay in this room with a closed door, how are you going to attract it? It's not going to just jump out of the window. I mean, it might be, we live in LA, but I don't think so, right? So this is the point, that in order to attract something, manifest something, you have to become on the same frequency. You have to become that person who is going to attract that wish. You have to do at least some baby steps, at least lay down in the direction of your wish, you know?
Like, point yourself toward a hot girl.
Yes.
You want to date.
Yes.
A gender role to believe in yourself. And like, I'll go back to when I said like entitled to a good life. And I think we all owe it to ourselves to dream big and shoot for the stars and not cut yourself short, because who are you to cut yourself short or say that you can't do it? Like, okay, if you can't do it, I will. And it's like, so then are we going to like start on the topic of like women being stronger than men and like having a clearer vision or whatever? Because like your friends or people you've talked to that are saying they want to have a crypto company or whatever, like you guys starting this podcast, are you going to be like, oh, like Dave Portnoy's already like big in the space, we'll never be like him? Like, then who are you to limit yourself?
Everything you're saying. The only thing I don't agree with is the universe doing it. If this podcast becomes the biggest in the world, it's because every day we sat down, we recorded episodes, we put it out into the world, the algorithm picked us up. Yeah.
But I think putting prayers out there or putting out good vibes in the world, like if I walked around with my head low and I was just like an asshole to everyone, like.
But those are actions. Those aren't vibes. Those are actions that you're doing.
But it's like also energy and like who you are and how you carry yourself. Like no one's going to invite you, girl or guy, on a jet that's a shitty person and like no one wants to hang out with.
But those are actions.
Well,
and I also don't.
That a shitty person got invited on it.
If you're hot.
But I also don't want to surround myself.
For that matter.
I hate whenever, like, I've been really big in fitness and I've gotten in really good shape recently. Mm-hmm. And someone said like, oh, well, you're just built different. You're just built different. It's like, no, I mean, no, because you can do anything you set your mind to. So it's like, no, I'm not built different, or like,
yeah, you went to the gym every day. You did 10
what I had
sets
to do.
of bench press. You did 5 sets of squats.
But I have a bigger vision. It's like, I want to be this fit person. I want to have muscles. I want to look good in a bikini, look good naked, whatever. I wasn't just like doubting myself and like, I'm putting that out. And let's not even say universe, putting that in the world, putting that out verbally, putting that out mentally with my thoughts, or expressing interest to other people, or even if you do it silently, it's like, it's just a thought or just like a desire. Mm-hmm. Let's go back, like a desire to be fit, a desire to look good, a desire to have discipline and look healthy. So it's not like I'm like, universe, make me skinny by tomorrow. It's like, what are you doing to make those actions happen? And how are you gonna work toward that? And it's like, dream and have an idea, have a desire, and then act on it. And then it's up to you and I and all of us. How are you going to act on that? How are you going to, like, I'm not just praying to God, like, make me skinny. Mm-hmm. It's like, dear God, please give me good health. Please let this food nourish my body.
Yeah.
Put me in the right path.
I guess what I'm saying is there's two sides of it. There's the believing in it and praying in this side, and then there's doing the action, right? If you take out doing the action, it doesn't work.
Then it's just an empty promise, empty goal without a deadline.
But if you take out this side, the believing in it, and you still go to the gym and you do 3 sets of 10 squats every day, and you do this and you do this and you do this, it still works. Even if you don't believe in it, you're still going to get big muscles.
But would you start this podcast if you didn't believe in you two? Like, would you be doing this right now? You'd be doing something that's worth your time. You'd be doing something you believe in. You'd be doing something you want to do and you want to see reach and a major goal or greater than you. And I'm sure whenever you guys started this, I didn't think I don't know what your beliefs or your manifestations were starting this, but did you guys manifest this house that you guys live in and that you can record in? Did you manifest all the hot girls that you have access to, I guess. And
But like, no, like we didn't manifest it.
But
We
so
like
then-
this
so
house.
then-
It's like I went to the lease and I put down the down payment. I think then the
But
girls
then
we
the
DM,
fact that
DM,
it
like
was there, the fact that it was out there for you and you saw that lease and you got agreed on this lease. This is what
So
manifestation.
like, why are you doing it? It's like people hate their corporate jobs because they're not doing something that's fulfilling for them, and it's not their dream to sit in an office. So people manifest and desire greater things. So you're doing this because you believe in, both of you guys, you believe in this business model, and you believe like this is what I want to do. And so there has to, like, I don't believe that you're like, oh, I'm just doing this, because like, I mean, people flip burgers and they're just doing that. Or like people are teachers and they're just doing it. But like, why? What's your why? Why are you doing all of this? There has to be a greater purpose.
Yeah, it is like what you were saying, desire. I really think that they are basically the same thing, at least in my opinion. But I think there is, like what she was saying, there is this energy too about somebody, and what they give out is what they attract. And I think that does play a big part of it. And yeah, I don't know about the whole universe thing either, but it's definitely desire and energy.
Because people believe in different things. People believe in like other gods, like Allah, or like this or that. People don't believe in God. People believe in their self or whatever. So I think there has to be some kind of other ulterior motive of what you want to be and why you're doing what you're doing. Like there has to be a purpose, because you don't just wake up every single day and like, I mean, maybe you do or maybe you don't, because you don't believe in yourself, because you don't believe in like a higher self. But like life would suck if you just wake up, brush your teeth, eat the same salad, like go to school, do this. That's like so much of a routine. So I think you have to desire and want that for yourself and for the greater good. And if that means the universe or to God, or I don't know, hell, if you're praying to Satan or something, like you have to want something to work toward. And amazing.
What are some questions men should ask you on the first date for you to find them interesting?
So, what's your body count? Do you want to split the bill?
Oh, that's,
I'm just kidding.
oh, I was like, oh,
No.
I would be like, all right, I'm out of here. Too personal.
You know what? I like when a man is just so straight up with you, but not over the top. Like, for me, I'm religious, and on a first date, I mean, I don't really go on dates. They're so scary. But on a first date, I do kind of want to know, are you motivated? Are you religious? You know?
Intentions.
Are you close with your family? Yeah, exactly. What are your intentions with this? Like, are you just looking to hook up? Are you looking to have a relationship? Like, do you want to get married? But, like, at the same time, you don't need to go so deep into it. But, you know, if it's hard because I'm on this end. And I'm just thinking, like, I kind of want to grill the guy. Like, I want to know what is going on with him. So, maybe not so much questions, but just, like, the conversation you guys have, you know? And just see, like, if you connect. I mean, but I do want to say something. And I have a lot of amazing, oh, by the way, I just want to say something, too. When I talked about the private jet, I only singled out Michelle because we have a lot of mutual friends and we get asked on private jets. I didn't mean to, like, not single or have her included. I think she's so beautiful that she would easily get on a private jet. But anyways, so, yeah, I was going to say, I recently had this conversation with a lot of my girlfriends, and we deal with a lot of aggressive men and touchy men. And
Entitled
time,
men.
Yes, and every time that there's a situation where you're at dinner or it's a first date and they ask you for permission to kiss you, bye. It's the hottest thing ever. Like when a man has self-control to be so respectful and ask you that question before just laying one on you or just grabbing you, it's just like
Or like an expectation, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the most like sexy thing a man can do when they have self-control and when they're respectful. So I know that didn't really answer your question, but
Okay,
I
so
don't know what I would want a man to ask me.
So you said something. You said you don't go on dates. Why is that?
Well, I mean, I'm just not open to it at the moment. I went through a lot of stuff recently, but
Oh, so in general, you do go on dates, but at the moment, you're not.
Still no. So I was in a relationship from 17 to 20, and it scared me so bad away from men. And through 5 years after that of being single, I was forced on one date. I voluntarily went on maybe 2 other dates.
You were forced on one date.
Oh yeah, my friend forced me to go on a date. I was in a
Dropped her off
state.
blindfolded.
Basically, I was in a different state and I did not have a car, and I was staying at this man's grandparents' house. And she's like, "He's picking you up." I'm like, "Oh my god!" I actually told him to take me. He's a
The
great
airport.
guy. But I told him to take me to the least romantic place I could think of, which was Bass Pro Shops. To just walk around.
Yeah.
Which probably bit me in the butt later because we were bonding over fish and hunting gear. But yeah, anyways.
But then I also like think a date doesn't like, because you and I can go on a date and it's like an exchange of 2 human beings having conversation and enjoying a meal or whatever. Like I don't think there needs to be so much pressure unless like you know the intention, like I'm at this person on a dating app, I'm looking for love, I'm whatever. Because then in my term of like going on dates or whatever, like I would go on dates with people just to like learn more about them or like learn who they are and like have those questions of like
Are you suggesting that there's
Or
nothing
learn.
romantic going on before going
Or
on a
learn
date?
about yourself.
Yeah,
it's
or
also
it's-
about learning about yourself, discovering what you like, what you don't like. Because a lot of people's problem that they are not aware of what they like, what they want. And single era is so great because you can actually discover what you like, what you don't like, who you want to see next to you, how do you feel next to a certain type of people, and
because then I think whenever people have, it's great to have clear goals and boundaries and expectations. But I think if I went on a date with a guy and they're like, I want to get married. I mean, it's good. I mean, what I'm saying is not negative, but it's like, I'm looking for this. I want to get married. I want to get this. Like any normal person be like, okay, like that's a little overwhelming. Let's slow down. Because I think if you and I went on a date and we like each other's company and we like our banter going back and forth and X, Y, and Z, then it's like, hey, this could go somewhere. Like this could be great. And so it's like, what are you expecting? And it's also when you set your expectations so high sometimes, then you are almost setting yourself up for failure or even like disappointment.
I wouldn't agree because I think this is actually pretty honest when you go on a date and a man says straightforward what he's looking for.
Of course, I'm all for being
I would
straightforward.
rather appreciate if a man says, hey, I'm looking for someone, I'm looking for a life partner to spend my life, I'm looking for marriage on the first or second date, rather than a guy just hanging out with me for a month, 2, 3, and then I'm realizing that he actually already has a wife and it was all just for a hangout.
But wouldn't you
and
know
that's
that
why
before you go on the date? And like, what's the intention of you going on the date? Like, are you looking for love? He's looking for marriage? Because like, at the end of the day, I'm also looking for love. I'm looking for marriage, but it's like, you don't want to apply that pressure on someone.
But
or
it's
like an
not,
athlete, you're
but
not going to
it's
apply
your
it.
perception. This is how you perceive that he's applying a pressure on you while he's just sharing his intention.
Of course, it's intention, and that's why I'm saying like talk about your dreams, your goals, and reality. But it's like if I went on a date with someone and he's already trying to like wife me, or is like just putting that out there with so much pressure, I would be like, whoa.
With
that's
so
mean,
much
it
pressure, of
depends.
course, but
With the pressure, yeah.
love an honest man. I love an honest
me
man.
too,
I
'cause
don't want to
love
get
that
my
too,
time
but the
wasted
pressure,
at
though,
all.
of like being
Yeah, of course.
But is it
of
really
course.
pressure, or you feel like it's a pressure if a man
Yeah.
said that he wants something serious because
Depends on the
you
man.
want to
No, I agree.
avoid and stay away from something serious because you've been hurt in the past?
say I want something serious, say this is what I want. But by me saying I want family and kids doesn't mean a month, like this one date is going to lead to like being pregnant next
But he
month.
also didn't say that.
But then if I'm saying, the guy is saying, like I'm saying I want a wife and kids, and the other guy is telling you, I want to be married, I want to be this, I want to be that. So it's like, okay, good, I do too.
Okay,
But it's
perfect.
like the
Then
pressure.
that it's not, for me, it's not a pressure. That means that this is a serious man and we actually can work and see where it goes, because we have the same intentions, because we both ready for marriage, for having kids and living a family life.
But I'm also serious about having kids and things like that. But I'm going to tell someone my vision is to have kids. I want to have a family. But I'm not going to like put pressure on the guy and be like, I need to have kids like now.
I
or
think
like,
it's also about men when they get to a certain point, when they feel, or even women, when, because it happened to me. I just one day I realized like, okay, I met so many people, I went on dates, and now I feel like I want to have a family. So for me, maybe not the first date, but I would tell a man that I'm looking for a serious relationship because I want to have a family. I'm ready to be mama in the near future, in the next year or two.
of course, but then even going back to the car situation, you wanted to have a car, and you wanted to have a car in your home country and whatever. And it wasn't like you didn't go to a dealership once or twice or whatever, and then you got that. It took some time to figure out where you are, figure out where you want to go, figure out where you want to be, what city you want to live. Like, it took a lot of other figuring out to get, like, you weren't just like, I want a car, I'm getting a blue car, I'm getting a blue car, I'm getting a blue car. It took some time to
Of course.
learn yourself, learn about how you can make money, create a better life for yourself. And it wasn't just like blue car,
Of course, the same happens with dating scene. It wasn't for me like first of all, I do not see any reason to date if you're not looking to have a serious relationship. For me, it's a waste of time, waste of energy. Why would I be in a relationship that's leading nowhere just to have
but you never know if you don't try. How I met the person that I'm now in love with, I literally saw him. I literally just got out of another relationship with someone that I was with. I wasn't even looking for a relationship. I wasn't even looking to get into one that quickly. And it just so happened that I met this person, super sick guy, super handsome, and I got to know him more. I didn't just go on a few dates with him or date him for 2 years and think, yep, this is like who I'm going to marry, whatever. It like takes more time, and it's everyone has clear boundaries. Like, my boundaries and my desires of like wanting to be a mom and be married didn't just start like a year ago. Like, I've had a lifelong dream of that.
But also, man, by saying that he wants to have a family and looking for a life partner, doesn't say that he's going to marry you tomorrow.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all either, because I'm saying I want to have a kid and kids and a family, and I'm not saying I'm going to do that tomorrow, but I think there's a different delivery of how you can say, like, this is what I desire and this is whatever. But I think what I'm thinking of is I've heard people kind of like try to rush things or try to be like, this is what I want, this is what I want. And obviously, let's not waste time here. Tell me what you want. Tell me how this and this and this. But I think trying to put pressure on people, or like if I was like, oh my God, like I need to be on a jet like right now, and like put that pressure on it, it's like, how about we just wait and like go through the motions and go through life and see it unfold, and it will happen. Because I think if you're just like chasing something too hard, then that's where the discouragement gets, and it can.
I think it also, as you were saying earlier about, I want to be a billionaire, millionaire by the age of 25, 28. Some men, for example, they want to get into marriage before they got 40.
So I agree with that at all.
So that's why when they're already 38, 39, they're like, okay, my plan is to get married by 40. So now I am 38, 39, and I'm looking for marriage. And that's why I'm being clear with girls. So when I go on a date, I'm talking from
I feel like you always have to be clear. Like, it's not like I'm 39 now and the clock's running out and I'm going to just set. Like, so are you saying that the man is 39 years old, he should just date around as many people and like hammer this dream by 40?
I never said that.
Well, but you're saying to
I'm just saying that some people just have.
But what if it doesn't happen
intentions
by 40? Like, I have clear intentions. Like, I wish I was a millionaire by 21. I'm 22 now. I'm nowhere near it. So it's like, am I a failure now? And were my intentions not clear enough? Like, I was still working toward that. But so it's like I was saying, the deadline thing, but it's also like, are you going to just rush and settle now because you're 39 and the clock is running out?
To be honest, I used to think like that. Like, I used to be really afraid when guys were straight up with me, and it would scare me off in a way. But then I reached this point where I'm like, and by the way, I would sugarcoat with men all the time, and it would lead them on. And like, I was just trying to be nice. Not that I was using dates. I wouldn't go on dates with them, but like, I would still text them. I would be like friendly with them, but it led them on, and I wasn't straight up, and I could never just tell them no. I don't know why. I was just too nice. Like, even on Valentine's Day one year, I feel so bad, but I left this guy hanging because I just couldn't say it. And I
Wait, what did you do?
like, this guy asked me to be his Valentine, and I just never responded. Like, I think I said, I'll let you know, I think I have plans, but that was me sugarcoating it because I felt bad saying no. But nowadays I realize what I'm doing, and I don't mean to have those intentions to lead people on. So I like to be straight up. I like to say, no, I'm not interested in dating right now, or okay, yeah, let's see how this goes. And like, now I'm in this mindset where I do love and I do want something more serious. So I appreciate honesty, but there doesn't have to be pressure. I just like when people are, they feel comfortable being real.
I think you
and
guys
saying
are,
what they
are missing
want.
the point of what I'm saying, because I am the most blunt, I'll tell you how it is. This is what I accept. This is what I want. So I think you guys are skewing what I'm saying a little bit, or just missing the point of interpretation. I'm all for being straightforward. I'm all for having clear boundaries, clear communication, and etc. But I think it comes, like, because I would love, like, the person I'm in love with is like, this is what's good. This is what like works for me. And I'm like, great. This is what works for me. This is what I will accept. So it's not like so much of beating around the bush. But imagine if you were growing up and you're an athlete and your parents are like, you are going to be an Olympic athlete because I was, and this. So then you're already having this like pressure, or like, my parents are immigrants from Poland. They had this pressure on me to live their American dream and go to college. And that just wasn't something I wanted to do, or maybe I didn't think I wanted to do.
Yeah, you're talking about priorities, and your priorities are currently different than somebody.
But it's not even priorities. It's like, for me, if it meant for me to go to college, or if it meant for me to go against the grain and do whatever I wanted to do, it wasn't like, my priority is success and like to have a good life. It's not, and I don't say,
I'm not
like,
talking
don't,
about college. I'm talking about your dating priority.
Dating, yeah, or like dating priority. It's like, I also don't want to force anything, and I don't want to hammer into someone. But so I think this is where it's like getting misinterpreted. I'm all for clear communication, boundaries. This is what I want. This is what I'll accept and whatever. But I think where it's just getting a little misinterpreted is like, of course I want someone to be straight up with me. I wouldn't want someone to not be straight up with me, or lead me on, or if I am trying to chase a client to close a deal.
You're just not interested in somebody who wants something extremely serious.
No, that's not even it, because I hope you're serious, and I hope you're not bullshitting me. But I think it comes to, like, I guess if you and I went on a date and it's like, first date, second date, I want to get married, I wanted this, and it's like, oh, well, maybe I'm not, because the person I'm in love with is older than me. He's 30.
Yeah, you don't want something serious.
No, but it's not even that. I do want something serious. But
then
it's
if I said to you, hey, let's get married, what would you say? And I said, I'm sure that you're the one that I want. Because I'm being very clear with you.
Then what's the rush, though? Like, what's the rush to make such a, like, I think we have time, and
desire.
It's love.
I want to be married.
Yeah, then
I don't want to be dating anymore because I know what.
Yeah, I think it's a balancing act. There's like, it's attractive for a man to tell a woman what he wants. Like, that's a leader, in my opinion. I'm like, oh, so attractive. I love it. So it's like a balancing act. It's like, you're the one I want to marry. Yeah, that's going to scare me off. Like, that's going to scare me off.
Like,
but if it's like, one day I desire to get married, rather than just keeping your mouth shut, then I'm like, if they're keeping their mouth shut, like, honestly, I don't mean to be this way, but I presume they probably want to just hook up or something.
But if someone is also putting so much pressure on you, then that's,
if they're putting a lot of pressure, absolutely, like, it scares me away. If they're like, I'm 40, you're the one. I want to be married
by this age.
It's not also about like pressuring. No one says again that you're gonna get like, and also honestly, my point when you said it right now, I realized it also comes to be with the right person, because there is a man you genuinely love, you feel connected on a high level, on maybe on a spiritual level, and you meet this person, you feel that this is the man you've been waiting for it to appear in your life, manifesting or desiring to have this exact person. Why would you say no? Because Russian things, well, for me, I would rather be married than just seeing someone or dating someone when it's not leading anywhere and there is no responsibility for this connection. I do not see myself just dating around just because it's cool to have this status of being in a relationship or having a boyfriend, because if it's not leading nowhere, I would rather be on my own. Yes, I do accept help from men and their attention, but then why would I be in a relationship with you when I can be still focused on my goals, desires, and just live my life?
Well, I think you kind of just contradicted yourself in a way by saying, like, I want to be married and I want this. So are you going to just settle and, like, marry someone because you think that's what you want? Or are you going to wait around?
I'm gonna wait, but I'm not going to get into a relationship if I do not see myself marrying this person.
Yeah, so then if this guy is 39 years old and wants to be married by 40, should I rush my own timeline and, like, my desires and what I want for my life just because this guy's ready to get married, he's ready to have a kid? What if, like...
Yeah, well, that was exactly my point, that you have different priorities.
But then it's also, like, if you love me and it's, like, I'm ready for this now, and it's, like, hey, I'm not ready for the next, like, year or so, then it's, like, if you love me, then it's, like, okay, then I respect where you're coming from. I want to be with you. But
now you're talking about compromise. So why is it that the guy has to compromise?
Because if you love someone, that's all what a relationship is about.
But the guy could say the same thing. If you love me, you would marry me. So then who loves who more?
But then it's also like, do you need a label? Do you need a title to know I love you or that I want to be with you? Like, do I need to be pregnant?
I think you would try to find any excuse that you possibly can to get out of the commitment of it. Because that's not what you want. And so any excuse that you could come up with, then that's what you would find.
See, the deadline is very scary. If there is like a deadline like that, I understand. Like, I don't think people should rush. I think both should compromise.
It takes two to tango.
Yeah, of course. But like, just honesty is just so good.
Any of your like family members, friends who have this love story of like, oh, we met and then like 3 months later we got engaged and then we got married?
I've heard stories like that.
You've heard stories. Mm-hmm. You've heard stories like that. You've heard stories like that. Mm-hmm. You've also heard stories of people who have been together for 8, 9, 10 years and still are not married. Right.
But
or got married after so many years.
But I also know a couple and they're inseparable, great couple, and totally for each other, but the one girl was ready to get married and to have kids, and that kind of drove the other person away because it's also like, well, I want a G-Wagon. I want 5-carat ring. And it's like, shit, I don't know if I could do that for you, but like I can give you my love and my heart and like we can work toward that. So I don't think it's like... I think it's very selfish of one person to be like, this is what I want and like whatever. Okay, then if that's what you want, then go find it and like go find it elsewhere. Unless you're willing, like you want this podcast to be the most successful podcast. You're not going to just upload a few videos and be like, why is it not working or whatever. Like you're working towards something and you and your business partner are making compromises, making decisions on how can we both be happy. Because if the man is just like, this is what I want, well, it's like, there has to be some kind of compromise. And I think...
Yeah, but there's communication.
Yeah, communication of this is what I want. This is when I'll be kind of more ready or like whatever. I don't think it needs to be one track mind, man makes decision or like anything like that. Because then you're setting yourself up for failure essentially or unhappiness or resentment.
But if I had was communicating with you in the very beginning on the first date and I was like, what do you want? And you said, oh, like, you know, I could see myself getting married. I could, you know, these are things that I could see myself doing. I want kids at some point, blah, blah, blah. That would not be clear to me that at this moment you're not ready to get married or have kids. There wouldn't be a timeline because you're not giving me one.
Okay.
But if I said that, oh, you know, I would like to be married and have kids in like a year and a half. Yes, it would scare you off, but it would also be clear to me that you're not ready for it. So then I wouldn't waste my time for the next year and 2 years of my life trying to convince you and compromise to be in a relationship that's never going to work.
But then again, it's not wasting time if the end goal is all the same, if that makes sense.
But it would be for me, though.
Waste of time.
For you, it might not be.
So if you meet the love of your life and they are a little bit younger than you, but they have maybe some health issues or financial problems or etc. Like, are you going to be like, all right, well, you're wasting my time because you're sick and you can't have a kid right now? Then wouldn't you compromise and be like, all right, let's get you healthier. Let's get in a better financial spot and be able to create the life. Like, right? Like, what if I was sick, but you really want to marry me and you really want to have kids with me, but I can't have kids right now? Is that an end all be all because
I think
of a medical issue? Like, so then where's the compromise or where's the whatever? Then are you going to be looking for a healthy girl?
I think it's easy to be in one shoe but not the other.
Elaborate on that. What does that mean?
If you are the one who has to compromise, how is that picture looking like?
But I think a relationship is both compromise.
Sure. But let's say for the sake of this conversation that we're now in a relationship and all of a sudden, and I'm the provider of this household and I'm making all the money and paying the rent and, you know, the mortgage and whatever, the bills, all the bills. And you get to have fun, have a good life and be a housewife. And I all of a sudden get hit by a bus and I'm brain dead for the next, in a fucking coma for the next 5 years. And you have to pick up the bill and do all the work for the relationship. How is that picture looking like for you then?
I mean, it's something I signed up with to have a house with you, to have kids with, and like.
But did you?
Till death do us part. I mean, no, but the unexpected happens.
Sure, but we're not married.
People's parents die, or people do this or do this, and it's like.
See, I think you're lying.
So then, should I just abandon you though?
I think you will walk away. Yes, you will. You will
That's
abandon me.
That's fucked up. No, I don't believe.
I know
in
it's
that.
fucked up, but people
like,
do that.
No,
because they're like, you know what? Well, we're not married. Because see, it's easy to say that because you're not right now in that situation.
Oh, you're saying if they're not married.
You're not
married. You're dating this person. So then after a year, you're like, okay, well, you know, I was this good girl who like did the right thing. It's been a year. He's still not good. He's not doing well. Year and a half goes by. Now resentment starts to build up. And you're like, well, we're not married. We have no kids. There's no commitment. You know what? I'm out.
Of course, but that's where communication comes in, and it's like, hey, this isn't working for me because of XYZ, or it's like the timelines are not. So that's a conversation and a decision that is made between two people.
I wish people changed just because there is a paper that they signed. The reality of it is just because you're married means nothing.
So then what's the pressure of not going on a few more dates or not like seeing where things go? Like, what's the paper going to change? What's a child going to change? People have kids all the time and it ends up being a shit show because now parents are divorced, different homes, this and this. So it's like, wouldn't you rather be on the same page as me, even if that page is like in a few chapters, rather than like, let's do this now, let's do this. Because then, okay, we've got the paper now. Now let's spend some money, divorce. Let's embarrass ourselves, look like shit to our family because we rushed into things way too quickly. Or if I wanted to buy a car and I rush into a car that I'm like, okay, I really want this car. I really want this. But it's like, is this the best choice for me right now to spend that money on that car? Or would it be better if I got my shit together, got myself in a better position where I'm like, I know I can buy this car. I'm going to buy this car right now and make that decision with myself or with a partner instead of just like, I want it.
Well, of course, for you, that's what's right because that's where you're at in life.
But how would that not be right for you? Would you want some girl to tell you everything you want to hear?
For the record,
yeah,
I don't believe in marriage. So I don't think that people should be married to begin with.
Okay.
But that's a completely different conversation. However, most of society does want to get married. Most women do want to get married at some point. Mm-hmm. And so even as a guy, if I said that, hey, like I don't want to get married or I don't want to have kids, and I said that in the very beginning on the first date, the same exact opposite thing would happen. If I said that, they would walk away. They would be like, no, I do want to get married and I do want kids.
But do you think your beliefs and your opinions may not change, or like maybe someone didn't want to have kids before, but they meet someone amazing and they're like, wow, I actually want to build a life with this person. Like, I don't think
my
you need to have
ex-girlfriend,
a
she wanted to
one-track
get
mind.
married and she wanted to have kids. And I was like, sure, I'll compromise and get married and have kids. But I don't believe in either of them.
But you're doing something going off of like what someone else wants and like what someone else
That's what's called compromise.
So what's wrong with that?
There's
Why
nothing
is it
wrong
a
with
bad thing?
compromise.
Okay.
I'm not saying that compromising is a bad thing.
So then why can't two people compromise? Or like, why does one person have to call the shots? Or like say, this is what I want now, and if it's
It just sounds like you're not willing to compromise.
me. Sounds like you're not willing to compromise.
I just said that I am.
But so am I. I said it takes two to tango.
It's like
It's
you
not
guys are in a relationship and this is your first fight. This is exactly why he doesn't get married.
No, but I think it takes two to compromise and like two to be able to make decisions. Or if it's like, hey, you want to go to Wally's, I want to go to In-N-Out, then it's like, okay, well, you're not like, okay, I'm going to Wally's and then I'm going.
What is a
In-N-Out.
compromise of me saying that I want to get married in a year looks like for you?
Like how I would compromise. Then I would think, okay, how can I get myself ready for marriage, and how can I get myself to a place I want to be that is allowing myself to do that? Just like the car thing. I want powder blue G-Wagon,
Forget the
63,
car
like
thing.
whatever.
The car thing's got
Okay, I
nothing to
want a
do with
husband.
anything.
I want wife and kids or husband and kids, whatever. So it's like, how can I get myself in that position to be able to do something like that? Not just be like, okay, yeah, like sure. Like I need to have my own opinion.
Of course. And so what
What
does that
it
look like,
takes
though?
for you to get married for marriage? You mentioned a few times that you have what I should do to get ready for a marriage. What is it? What is the process of getting ready for marriage?
Not settling for something just because I want it. Not settling for something just because someone else wants it. For me, how I would see myself being ready for marriage or being ready to have a child. Like I wish I had kids right now, but I'm like, I'm way too young. I owe it to myself to live my life and to see where things go and not just make such a not stupid decision, but such a quick decision. Emotional decision. Yeah, perfect. It's an emotional decision, and then that's where I'm saying it could lead to resentment, to regret, and then you're like, where did I go wrong?
I mean,
and why did I go so quick?
But then it also sounds like, as you said, like you have to get ready. But like, is it to get ready, or is it to make sure that there is a right person next to you? Because it sounds also a little bit like marriage for you is really limiting system, that if you marry, then your life just ends and you have to get ready.
No. I believe in getting married to the right person that I know this is who I want to spend my life with, because I think marriage should only be done once. I'm not going to get married to someone and make an emotional decision because I want it now. This is what I want. Because then it's like, I don't want to have kids with someone and then it doesn't work out, and then have stepchildren and like other factors involved. So I want to know that the decision that I'm making, because it's so important for me, I don't want to make a emotional or quick decision just because I want it. Just because, like, fuck what you want. Like, is it a right, like, decision what you want? Like, I want a lot of things in life, and it's not happening in the next year or so, but it's like, so should I just give up on my dream of like being married and having kids just because I'm not going to be married this year or in a year or in times? Like, I think I still have that goal. And I don't think it's, I think
it's also
you're
about
making me seem
intention.
bad for wanting to be cautious or like to want to marry the right person.
No, I'm just asking. This is just, we all have different perception. I'm just trying to understand your point of view.
So it's like, I don't want to make an emotional decision. I don't want to think too quickly and act on emotion and act on what someone else wants that may not be what I want. Like, I would rather take a little bit longer to think about something than make an impulse decision just because I want it or just because someone else wants. Because maybe what you want today, you're like, oh, actually, that is not like what I really want right now, or like the life path I see myself being on. And then, like I said, how I I love and I love the person that I fell in love with and have been with for 4 years. But it's also like, just because I want marriage or they want marriage and kids, should I drop everything I'm doing and stop my personal growth or stop myself from becoming who I want to be just because this person wants to be it and I want to be with them? So I'm going to just like drop everything.
Why is it
Why
that
do
you
you have
feel
to
like
stop?
Why do you feel like you can't do those
Well,
things
because
with
then
the
there's no
person?
compromise, because then he wants to be married in a year. I don't really want to be married in a year. Let's just say, like, that's not the topic that we talk about right now. But it's like, we both have the same end goal of lots of kids, being married, loving each other till death does us part. But it's like, do you really need to make, because there has to be compromise, I guess. Like, you and your business partner make compromises all the time. Like, maybe he wants to do this and maybe you don't want to do this or whatever. Then it's like, okay, well then how can we both do this? And like, we're a partnership, we're a team. How can we both do this and come to a conclusion? Because like, I mean, unless you just like,
Yeah, but then I don't tell him I'm going to go do my own podcast and then you do your own podcast.
yeah, you're like, let's figure out how to do this together.
Sure.
So it's
So
like,
the question remains.
so who's the dictator here? Like, do you want to be in a dictator business relationship or in a dictatorship in like your love life or in your home?
I think you're exaggerating the circumstances
Wait,
here.
let's go back to the original thing. You're on a date, right? And the man looks at Michelle and goes, Michelle, oh my gosh, I've always dreamed of having kids. I've always dreamed of getting married. And not to scare you, but like, you know, I see that with you. You seem like you could, you know, you would make a good mom.
I love that. Then like, how can I get ready for that? Or how can I make sure that I am ready to be a mom or a good wife for you? Like,
yeah. Is your fear the
guys
timeline if he on the first date straight up said, in a year, I want to get married? Because that, I mean, I understand. That would scare me too. But
like,
if they're honest.
or like, what's marriage going to change? Like,
Michelle, why are you so afraid?
afraid of what?
I don't know. What are you so afraid of?
Of just making a wrong decision or making an impulse decision. Any decision
What
that
was the biggest mistake you've made?
I don't want to talk about it.
There you go.
It wasn't had to do with any like relationship
I know.
or like marriage or anything.
Sure, yeah.
It was like a social media thing. Something.
When did that happen?
It was like 18.
Uh-huh.
Was it you who leaked that Drake video?
Maybe.
Did
She'd be proud.
did that form your current perception after the event took place?
No, not at all. Because like whatever happened was an impulse decision of something I did. And I was like, what the fuck was I thinking? Why did I not give that? So yeah, totally. That situation of that happening and looking like shit and humiliation to so many people, I was like, damn, if I would have just thought about that a little bit more of what the future would look like, how this would affect me in the long term, in the long run, then I would have saved myself a fucking humiliation a few years ago. Now I own my shit and I'm like, I won't make that mistake again. I'm going to think about what I'm doing, what I'm saying, who I'm treating with kindness, with whatever. Because if I would have thought about that and like been like, how is this going to affect me? And I would have thought, then I would have never had to go through that. I mean, thankfully it's a learning lesson, but I also don't want to make an impulse decision in bringing a child into the world or like getting married to someone and like giving, like having that connection with other families and with like so many feelings and stuff, because I think marriage for me is bigger than just making a decision like, okay, we're doing this or like whatever. And like, I love the people that have the true love stories after a few months or like after a year and they are married. But it's also like, if we have the same end goal, if we have the same desires, let's not make an impulse decision. And let's make a decision as a couple of how we can get to that and how we can make the best decision. And then you say it's a waste of time, but I don't think it's a waste of time to be with someone. Like, let's say the guy I am in love with, I don't end up marrying or I don't end up being with. I wouldn't say that's a waste of time at all. I would say that's the best 4 years of my life. Now I know what I want. My intentions are more clear. And it wasn't like, oh my God, we're in love, let's get married. Because then I think impulse decisions lead you to failure. And I think obviously our time on earth is limited, but we owe it to ourselves to make good decisions, not based on impulse or on wants or like desires, and like make the best educated guess. And if that means with a partner, I wouldn't say a waste of time, because then people could be like, oh, he was an asshole and like it didn't work out. Then I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, what a waste of time. Because I learned so much. I learned about myself. I learned about dealing with a partner long term and XYZ. So I wouldn't say it's a waste of time, and it's a learning lesson. I think anything, you have to make mistakes, and you have to fuck up, or you have to realize, oh, that was probably not the best thing to do, to be able to then move on and be like, this is how I will take this and this mistake and this learning lesson and move forward in my life without just acting on impulse. Even though I've made impulse decisions of like, my friends were like, let's go to St. Bart's like a few weeks ago. And I was like, shit, today? I took a shower and then I like booked the plane ticket like instantly. And that was a great impulse decision. So I think it's like, I guess what you value more, or like an investment. I'm not going to just make an impulse investment or like just put all my eggs in one basket of one person just because that's what I want. Like I don't want to say the universe, but like the timeline of events, it'll happen when it happens, I believe. And you need to have a goal, have a vision, but also in life there is compromise and there is everything that goes along with it to make sure, because I wouldn't want to be with someone that is just like one track mind, this is what I want, blah, 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 blah. I want you to make the best decision and to be able to not waste time in the long run and then waste more money with marriage and divorce. Like, wouldn't you rather waste a little time in like the dating phase than like have to get a ring back from me? Then I don't want to give you the ring back, let's say, or whatever. Like, that's just material.
Well, interestingly, I could psychoanalyze you for a few more hours, but we don't have enough time for that. So, Liza, what is the most traumatic relationship experience you've been through?
I'm like, how far can I take this?
As far as you want.
But I don't want to get in trouble because it's
By
like... I don't think I should say.
Well, you don't have to say their name.
I'm going to say, no, it's about to... Okay. Most traumatic...
Say what you're comfortable with, because it's going on the internet.
I know.
Too.
I have to be careful with this.
Be wary of what you say.
This is what I don't understand about women, is that they go through a traumatic experience with someone who hurt them, but then they're also at the same time trying to protect the same person who hurt them.
Right. I know. That's literally the definition of me.
But it's also like, you don't want to, like,
No.
I have more like respect for people or whatever, like, than to blast someone for a mistake. That
Yeah, but
Sure.
that's besides the point. So
okay.
The only reason why I can't say this is because it's about to be made public. Okay. So this is going to be like big news, and I don't want to be the one to put this person on blast because I don't want to stoop to that person's level.
Well, if it's any consolation, this episode is not coming out for another probably 4 or 5 months. So
Wow, 4 or 5 months.
yeah, we got a lot of episodes.
He's lying to me. It comes out tomorrow. I like
No,
spill
no.
all the beans.
No, we got a lot of episodes.
Okay, well
this
then.
is episode 120, and we're currently episode 40. So
Gosh, it's tough.
You
Honestly,
need to hire some VAs out of the country.
we got 2.
there's gonna be 2. Okay, one situation was when I was 17, when I went through that relationship. That was very, very toxic. That was screaming every day. That was banging his head on my dash, breaking my vents. I mean, it was insanity, which is no wonder why I was kind of traumatized by that and stayed single for 5 years. I mean, he even would like cut himself in front of me. It was insane. Yeah, and then no, that's okay. I mean, a lot of people have gone through like physical abuse, and thank God I really haven't necessarily. Like, there's been close calls, but I feel so bad for those women or men. But yeah, the last one I got cheated on TV, so that's what I'm gonna say. It's a show that's about to come out, and by the time the podcast comes out, I'm sure social media will already dig.
So you were in a relationship with this person.
Yeah.
And then they went on a reality show.
Which I supported them, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. and then he essentially cheated on you. And you saw the show, or he told you about it?
I'm about to. No, 7 months later, after he filmed, he let me know what went down, which was really nice of him.
A little late, buddy.
Little late, super late. So yeah, trailers are coming out. I'm seeing some stuff, and it's not pretty.
But he told you before this stuff came out.
Oh, he told me like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, which.
Wait, I don't understand. He told you before you saw the.
Okay,
you saw it or after?
When did you guys break up, or like?
Okay, so we broke up. This is gonna be confusing when it airs, though. So I'm just gonna say, while we were dating, while he was my boyfriend, he went on this TV show. Yes, reality. Okay, and things happened. I didn't know about it. He always told me, I don't want to talk to you about the show. I want to keep you separate from the show. Red flag. I still trusted him. I was still with him for, 6 months later?
This is after when he came back.
Yeah. Still stayed with him for 6 months or so. A lot of stuff went down, just a lot of fights and stuff. Yeah, and then I broke up with him for other reasons. Literally for other reasons about the relationship. Not even for the show.
Your intention was right.
Yes. And then, so after I broke up with him 2 months later, he decided to tell me what happened on the show since I'm about to see it. So trailers have been coming out. I've been seeing his personality on the show. That's been really fun to watch. So all I'm going to say is I'll see you guys on season 2.
Wait,
I will get my butt on season 2. I will.
You're actually going on the show.
This is a plan.
I would love to go on the show.
You better find those directors, start pitching. Yes.
Interesting.
Genius.
Okay.
So I just want to, I missed out on so much. I just want to experience what he did, you know?
So did he, okay. So why did you guys break up?
Just a lot of other reasons. There were huge communication issues.
You don't say.
I'm not gonna say. It's
No.
a little private. Yeah. Oh, you don't say. Yeah. I don't want to go there because I don't want to put him on blast for that. I'm only putting him on a little bit of blast because the whole public is gonna see everything that's going on. So.
But you don't want to put him on blast for the things that happened during your relationship.
No, I don't. Just because he's gonna be a big fat star, and I don't feel that he deserves. I mean, it's me being a nice person too.
It's just about
You know?
the respect.
It shows your character.
Yeah.
It shows
I
your
think,
character.
when
I wouldn't.
you choose someone, I think the same way of cheating. In my opinion, when someone cheats on the other person, it just showing that they have zero respect to their own choice they once made. The same way as
their
here.
own boundaries.
She
beliefs.
respects her own choice in the past. That's why she doesn't want to put him down, because she respects herself
And get to his
first,
level of
and
that.
then she respects
I
him.
don't want to
as
stoop
Here's
to
the-
that
here's the
level.
problem.
Why get to
And
that
I'm
level of
still
disrespect?
in love with him too. You know.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
But you also don't want to stoop
Not
to his
all
level
the other bullshit. No, she is
No,
stooping
I
to his
still
level
wouldn't
by
know.
wanting to go on the show, and the exact same question that I just asked you is going to be asked when she's on the show, and she's going to answer the question because they're going to force her
way.
to answer the question.
I'm not gonna tell them anything private about us because I made mistakes
Yes,
too.
you will.
They did, he did too. No, because he doesn't. No one
But
deserves
then
that.
it's also
You
how
know.
you can handle it. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, this happened to me. I'm going to go on the show and
Yeah.
make a different outcome.
Of course.
And show who I am and whatever. Because there's people that, the guy that put me on blast or whatever. I don't want to put him on blast or, expose him. And, the guy fucking threatened to delete my Instagram. And I was like, I also have the connect to do it too. But I would never stoop to that level and be equally as shitty as, that person. So, that just shows your character of, you fucked me over.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this,
Dude.
learn from it, and be a better person, be better
Yeah,
than you.
it hurt me
And be the fan
so
favorite on TV
bad.
or
Yeah,
something.
right. It hurt me so bad. I've never been
Two wrongs don't
more
make a right.
miserable. I'm seeing his face on billboards right now, and I'm trying to heal.
Oh my gosh, you have to tell me after. I'm so curious.
It's just
But yeah,
sad.
two wrongs don't make a right, so why stoop down to the... Oh. You're so much better than him, and don't even that person has their own
You're so sweet.
internal battles or didn't value you and have clear intentions, so that's why they made a fool out of themselves and they weren't thinking about you
Yeah.
in that light. And it's not you.
I
And
protected you from someone.
Yeah.
yeah, you're
just sad.
You're just meant for something greater.
and so it's now you aren't wasting any more time to hope that person changes or hope they become a better person. So it's don't waste time with someone that is treating you like that or whatever, like that's not a compromise anymore. That was a choice and a decision, and you fucked it up, and like now I'm paying the price emotionally or whatever. But you're an amazing fucking person.
Thank you.
And if and a homeboy like went on a show, had a big ego blown in his mind, and
it's just sad, very sad situation.
But that's not your fault.
I know, but you know how I think, and this is how I thought with my first ex. I've only had 2 boyfriends, and I was so heartbroken because I have so much love to give. After being single for that 5-year period, I was so scared to get into something with somebody, and when I finally did with him, I loved nurturing somebody. I loved buying them things and giving them back rubs and doing anything and everything for them. And I loved that so much. That was your love language. That it just like, it tears me apart thinking like, God, I genuinely hope he finds that with somebody, because I would have been everything. I would have done everything.
No, but you are everything. He just didn't deserve you, and he didn't see that, because you could give someone the whole world and everything more, and someone is still going to be in their mind not willing to compromise, to not see, like I've been so good to people, and people have absolutely walked all over me, shit on me, and like I would cross oceans for people that wouldn't cross a puddle for me. So it just shows your character and who you are. And I believe there is someone out there, even you, that doesn't want to be married. There's someone out there in the world that will see you for who you are.
I appreciate that.
And even how I met the person I was with, I didn't even mean to. It wasn't intentional. I saw them, literally love at first sight connection. I didn't think that was even real. So it takes you to learn from this, realize who you are, get even more clear with your visions and goals, and even like going on dates and saying like, this is who I want to be with. I don't want to be with someone like this and like this. But you also have to, like, how many times have you expected the best out of a girlfriend or a boyfriend, and then they end up totally not being who you are? So it's like, don't believe too highly to not set yourself up for failure, but also don't believe too little and not be optimistic and open-minded of possibilities and the possibility of marriage or the possibility of kids or X, Y, and Z. Because if I'm not like, oh, I don't want to have kids right now or whatever, what if I got pregnant and then it's like, oh, actually, this was a really great thing that I got pregnant. Or like, I got my skydiving license. I thought I was going to die, and I thought it was a one-way ticket to the ground. I'm like, actually, this is an amazing thing. And I'm glad I didn't limit myself, but I'm also glad I guess it's like a flip-flop of making impulse decisions and making the right decision, because ultimately everything is a lesson and a blessing, and you have to learn. And it's inevitable that like maybe I put all my eggs in one basket of marrying you and then it doesn't work out. Then it's like, fuck, that sucks, but at least you tried. And I think in life and relationships and business and everything, if you don't try, you'll never know, and you have to fail many times, or maybe have horrible relationships, or maybe get cheated on over and over again, or like left for someone better, or maybe even someone like doesn't value you the way that you value yourself. And then like you say, they always come back. So it's like, what changed? People change, which is, they say they don't, but I think ultimately people change if they want to change or for the greater good. So it's like, it's inevitable in this life that we don't make mistakes. But there is also the
thing about people coming back, because if a girl in a situation that she's dating or been dating narcissist or manipulator person, they cannot live without their victim, because this is an addiction, this is an emotional addiction. And when the victim trying to get away, they cannot continue their life, and they will try to come back, maybe in a week, maybe in a month, maybe in a half year. But because narcissist people, they have this such a big and strong wound inside them that's not letting them just to let it go. And these people will come back. If it's a healthy person and you're breaking up and that person know that he wants something different, he's just gonna move on. I think only people who have some kind of issues are going to come back, or it can be, you know, like a short period of time after the breakup, just because there already was this attachment, you get used to each other and you kind of like missing on it, but then
comfortable.
they're gonna fade away. But then there are narcissist people who will not let you alone because they are the way they are.
But
you are the victim.
Will come back if you let them. But then let's say I'm the narcissist chasing you, but you're like, fuck you. I know who I am. I know I'm better than this, just like Liza. Yeah. And she's like, I'm better than this. So yeah, come back all you want, but I'm already moving forward. And like, so it's like people come back if you let them. So it's like, am I gonna let you come back?
They just can come. Just in general, we are not talking about come back, about like being together. But I've been through narcissistic. I've been with a narcissist, and then this person, we could meet randomly in a half a year, and he would be trying to come back, like trying to convince me. And once,
but deep down, they're still the same.
Did he stalk you at all?
Huh?
Did he stalk you at all?
He did stalk me.
Did he stalk you?
I think yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I always hear of narcissists like stalking.
Yeah, through a friend in common, of course. Yeah, but then like once I did that mistake and I let him in, like hoping and just still, because I was still triggered by that trauma inside of me. It still wasn't healed enough, and then. Now,
but you said enough is enough, and you walked away.
But
from
then
the
now,
narcissist,
when I met him again and I saw him, I realized that there is nothing changed and will never change because I know the person is a narcissist, and I just let him go, and I know that will be some time and he will still try, but I'm just not interested, and it's my responsibility to not be interested in that anymore.
Of course, I agree with that.
You know what it is that it's that chase for validation from them that keeps you so hooked. They only give you just enough to keep you.
But I think that's where you need to find yourself, though. And it's like, why am I looking? Look at yourself in the mirror. Why am I looking for validation?
Totally,
from this guy?
I agree, but I don't agree. Like at the same time, because I'm very confident in myself. I love myself so much. I have a great support system of family and friends around me. But I love loving, and when I find my person, I'm like obsessed, you know.
They're not
and I'm like,
person though.
I know, but like you said, love at first sight. That was so me.
Yeah,
so me. I bought a diary within the first week of meeting this person, and I was like, I've never thought about marriage. Like I was such a little simp.
But
I
then
still
you
am.
also gave them a reality of what they could be, or like what you want them to be.
It is exactly that.
And it's like,
it could
you
be
can't
beautiful,
force beliefs on people, or like force someone to be something you think you want, and if they're not. So then I think I love you, but I think you made a mistake in expecting too much, because I'll have friendships and then I'm like, wow, I got completely shit on.
I expected too much, of
and
course.
so it's like, that's where we have to come back to reality of ourselves and be like, ooh, I was like a little too optimistic.
For sure.
I was a little too. So I think it's all just like checking in with yourself and conscious and, oh, I really love this narcissist, but I'm not going to go back. I'm better than that. I'm too good. I'm too
Tough
pretty.
thing.
I have other things going in my life, and there's so many people in the world and like so many other people that will like love you.
Yeah, it's about being aware what you really want. How do you expect your man to care about you, like how to act towards you? Because you also said there were some red flags, and we all girls, and I think sometimes even men go through this life lesson when we just don't want to see things that are presented, because we just blinded by our feelings, chemistry, or just the idea or something. But I think sometimes it just needed experience just for you to grow and learn from it, and it's just for the best to heal. I just would say, if you feel sad about it, what makes you feel sad? What did you lost? Loving someone? Then why wouldn't you just try to give all that love to yourself?
Exactly.
Were you feeling some kind of way? Then how you were feeling? What was bringing you that feeling? How you can give this feeling to yourself? Where else can you get it? And all other things. I think it just all come into introspective. Where these emotions come from?
Yeah,
Why
definitely.
do you feel sad? Do you feel betrayed, or do you feel abandoned, or you look at this as, thanks God, you showed me the true colors of this person, and I know I'm meant for greater, and I was so blind for such a long time, and it was so hard for me to make the decision and do the breakup, even though I knew that was the right thing, that there was no other choice right now than to break up, and that situation was just a cherry on top for you to make a decision that was a God's protection for you to get separated, because you were meant for more, you were meant for better, and you knew this deep down in your soul, but you just couldn't be brave enough because you had already so much of investment in this relationship and this person, the way you feel, you get used to, and then what if there's no other person? I would feel the same way, the same crazy feelings and chemistry. But there are other people. It might just take a while, and maybe will take a while for you to heal and to really reflect on what happened, why did it happen, how do I feel right now. But definitely will happen.
So to reflect on that, I guess I'll tell you my experience in my example. Me and my ex broke up, and I think we both collectively, maybe there's so much time and money and everything involved. I built like 2 of his most successful companies with him, and like being there with him. But it also came to a point where maybe I wasn't feeling as valued or like respected, and then maybe he felt like what he was doing and what was going on wasn't reciprocated enough. And I think it took that time away from each other to kind of realize, oh, actually, I've gone on dates, not with like an intention, like I want another boyfriend or whatever, because my heart was still open to him. And I think it took time to date around with other people or to whatever, just see what else was out there, to realize like, oh, actually, this is who I want to be with. And it wasn't any like narcissist or like cheating or like unloyalty. But I think it took time to like meet people and to see what else was out there, and even grow of my own self and be like, where did I go wrong? Where did he go wrong? And like collectively grow, because we're growing every single day. And it's obviously like people aren't going to change because you want them to be. Like you have to change for your own self. And like the label narcissist, like I don't think, like, are you guys saying that as like a permanent thing? Like you're just like born narcissist? Like maybe you are. When I was growing up, I had a really big ego. No one could tell me shit. Maybe I wasn't like the nicest to people, and do you think I still do? but like now I'm like, yeah, actually, right. That wasn't cool. And like we have revelations and realizations, and it's like, or even in like a situation where something happens, or like in a relationship, and you think this is the right thing to do. Let me blast them. Let me just make them feel like shit. And it's like, wait, was that the right thing to do?
I never had that intention to no one. I just genuinely never wished anything bad, or like wasn't trying to humiliate someone. But I wanted to say that I do agree with you on a point that it's important to go on a dates, because for me, this is what really helped me to overcome, because I used to tend to be in a codependent relationship, serving my trauma, and then when this narcissist person happened in my life, and I felt so bad for a few months. I was struggling, I was crying, it was really bad. Even though it was just a few dates, maybe we knew each other maybe for about a month or about so, but it was such a deep hurt, and I felt so bad. And then it happened that I moved into the house where the landlord was a lady who was about 45 years old, and thanks to her so much, because she was forcing me to go on dates and just to be out there, because to see that there's so many other people and everyone is so different, and there's so many hot people, there's so much smart people, talented people, so you not get stuck only on one person, because most likely this person means the world to you, but then you just open this window a little bit and just sneak in it, and you see that there's a bunch of other people and everyone is actually so
That's
great.
what everybody says is go on dates. It's so hard.
And
though,
not
because
expect
Or, like, to
anything,
travel
just to
even.
be.
Yeah,
That's
just
the
to
same
be.
thing.
definitely.
Like, there's so, like, the Morgan Wallen song, like, more than your hometown. If, like, granted, hometown's great. I mean, however you want to view it. But if I stayed in my hometown, I would have been limiting myself to opportunities, to experiences. And now I feel like I've traveled all over the world, fortunately, and I've seen different ways of life, different ways of culture, not just like American people or like American values and stuff. So I think it goes back to like owing that to yourself to explore. And like, maybe, I mean, you said maybe it's a waste of time to, I mean, I guess what you meant by that was like to date someone without like an intention or whatever. But like, what about, I don't know, like I think you just owe it to yourself to see what's out there and like learn more about other people. And that's why, like, I'm so sorry what happened to both of you guys with the narcissist relationships. But like, how would you know that you're stronger than that and know that you could overcome that or even whatever if you never went through that, if that makes sense? And obviously nobody wants to go through hardship and battles or a loss in life and stuff. But I think what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And for me, making mistakes and trying different things and whatever has made me stronger in the end and made my intentions and my desires more clear and have made the boundaries more concrete.
Final question. Is the green bubble a red flag?
What's green bubble?
When you text somebody and the bubble is green. So they have an Android.
Oh, yeah, for sure. How am I supposed to go through your phone if I don't know how to operate an Android? No, I'm just kidding.
No, you should never go through the phone.
Oh, wait,
you'll
no,
always
no,
end up
I
hurting
know, I
yourself
know.
Eventually. I mean, I think it's a preference thing. People don't like that I have Apple Music. I love Apple Music versus Spotify. I mean, I have both, but
Is it a red flag, Michelle?
no, I don't think so.
What is up with
No,
these
girls
examples?
If they
joke
want-
about it, though.
If they want that, then go ahead. Like,
So it's not a red flag.
No,
right?
it's not a red flag.
I
Girls
also
do
would
joke
I would
about it.
prefer iMessage and like an iPhone, but I mean, I'm also not going to force you to do something or like be someone that
Why would
just
you?
because I
Why
want.
would you care what type of phone that the person have?
As long as they
I
can
agree.
text and communicate, whatever. Then
Zach is not here to defend
You know
himself,
why
but I
he
agree.
says that?
What is
Because
that?
everybody says
This
that
is an
it's a
Android.
red flag.
So you have green messages.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we all answered correctly.
You're just special.
That is very true. I really am.
He asks it because all the girls say that to him.
Friends, yeah.
What a red flag that you have an Android.
Some people do actually think that it is.
Or like,
Well,
We've
I
had
actually
girls who
do
genuinely-
say it. I do. That's the first thought is red
But it's
flag.
not
But I don't know why I say
fancy.
that.
it's
I
not
don't.
a
I
deal
don't
breaker,
mind.
I guess. It's maybe like I don't prefer it.
It's not
but,
a
like,
deal breaker.
I just maybe they
I like
just
to read
hate green
receipts
color.
and-
Yeah, I mean, everybody has a lot of different reasons why. So
Well,
you'd
it's
have
just
to
a
watch
little-
the episodes for their explanations.
I think it's preference, I guess.
Well,
I
thank you
don't
so
mind.
much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for
guys have
having
been
us.
Absolutely
Thank
amazing.
you.
Thanks for
This
all of your
was-
opinions and rebuttals and everything. I think it
Yeah.
was great, and I'm glad we can all disagree to agree, and that's what makes us human. And like if we were all like programmed in the system and all thinking the same thing and like living the same way, it would just actually be chaos. So I am glad that we have so many different opinions, but we have like the uttermost respect for each other to disagree and not agree. And I think it's a good thing
I agree.
to have different opinions and different views.
It's the beauty of podcasts. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
See you later.